College sports tomorrow has unmasked itself via The Athletic. Yesterday, a piece by Stuart Mandel and Andrew Marchand, they unveiled a group of people that has been working behind the scenes, including Roger Goodell's right-hand man, who they're saying the NFL has no role in this whatsoever.
No, not so much at all.
Purely coincidental. But there is a group of people, whether they are business leaders, NFL executives, and current and former university presidents, athletic administrators, that have started this thing called College Sports Tomorrow. And what they are trying to do is something we've been asking for quite some time. Promotion and relegation in the world of college football.
Woo-hoo!
Now, we should preface this by saying, good luck, but the way that they are doing it is by trying to manipulate one of the largest hurdles that would be in the way of something like this happening. And that is, how do you convince the likes of Vanderbilt, Indiana, Northwestern to sign up for a promotion and relegation format when, you know, you're just riding the coattails of the universities that are powerhouses in football in your respective leagues? We know that this would be the biggest hurdle, but what the College Sports Tomorrow is proposing is something that is radically different, and it does preserve those bottom-feeding programs with a seat at the table. What they are proposing is that you have a 70 school format of the top tier of college football. And those programs are all of the Power 5 existing programs, and keyword there, Power 5. Existing programs plus Notre Dame and SMU. That gets you to the nice round number of 70. SMU, obviously heading to the ACC next year and getting the bump up from the group of 5, and Notre Dame, which has always been doing their own damn thing. But what this does is you would have 7 divisions of 10 teams across the country. Sounds familiar. And what they would all do is those are all safe from promotion and relegation. And then you'd have a group of 50 schools that would be in the second tier. Think of that as your group of 5. And the 50 schools would be playing in what would be the opportunity to become the 8th conference in that top tier, that 8th division in the top tier. So what you would do is you would take the top 10 teams as it would start from the group of 5 from the previous year, and you would say, you guys are in the big leagues, but if you have a losing record or if you are the bottom 2, you're out. The next 2 up are in the next year.
Indeed.
It gives programs an opportunity to get a seat at the big table. It saves the big schools their spot at the big table.
Yep.
And I think one thing that every Oregon State and Washington State fan should be banging the drum on this and retweeting this article left and right and gaining steam is that Oregon State and Washington State would be safe in this format because it would take the Power 5 schools and say, y'all are in.
It's the safe, simple, easy solution to this that I've been railing on for 2 years. For the love of God, this is what it is. Vandy, Indiana, go to hell. Tired of you hanging on.
Well, they'd still be there.
Well, for the time being, I think that you would eventually get there. I think they'd eventually get there. But this is at least the resolution to the biggest problems. And I think if you're talking about the lesser schools, the smaller schools, the ones that are going to be in the rotations regularly, whether you're a soccer fan or not, turn on a relegation battle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And watch. Just don't even really watch the game. Just check the ambiance. Living and dying with every second, every tackle, every pass, every shot. You see these people leaving these arenas after the games, and there's tears of either joy or tears of sorrow. Entire communities either celebrating beyond belief or being absolutely crushed.
Because we're talking tens upon tens of millions of dollars
Yes.
would be at stake here in your relegation down to that next level. Why would they want to do this, and why are they even here? They want to basically take the model of not just European soccer with promotion and relegation and to really create a little bit of equity between those schools. But they want to bring all of the conferences together under one umbrella and one television network. And they want to distribute the money across the board in a more flat rate where they would have, your prominent schools would get more money. Your Alabamas of the world would get more money than the Vanderbilts or Indianas. But at the same time, they want to loop in one television deal very similar to what the NFL does, right? Where Fox, CBS, NBC, and ESPN, they all pay one entity their television rights. And what they're saying is that this is more sustainable for the life of college sports than what you're looking at the current landscape is, which is the Big Ten and the SEC gobble up all of the money and everybody else just kind of hunts for scraps. And that's where we're at right now.
Yes.
They're saying they think that they have the ability to make more money for everybody else. And that's where the big hurdle comes in. The Big Ten and the SEC, they're not going to play this game. They're going to say, why would we give up a bigger piece of the pie than anybody else has to make it equal across everybody else? That's a major hurdle. The other major hurdle is the TV networks are going, if you think you're going to get any more money out of us, you're crazy, because we are reaching the point where the market is tapped out, as we're seeing right now, because the Pac-12 is dissolving.
Yeah. I think the pushback to the money issue is the same issue that the NFL tells Dallas and New York and in the NBA, Boston and LA. I don't care. Shut up, because if it's better for us all if we have this program.
But they don't care about that.
It's better. It's better for them though too, even though they don't get the upfront money. The additional money that starts coming in as this thing goes in the long run is better and more sustainable.
And that's what the networks are saying, is that you're not going to get more money out of us.
I don't think it's about more. I think it's about sustainability.
What would make it more sustainable? Because all they care about in the Big Ten and the SEC is, are we going to survive? Because that's what it has come down to.
They all know they are.
Well, I know, but they don't care about anybody else. Because when you're looking at with the Big Ten deal, it's trending towards the point where each school is going to be getting upwards of $100 million per university. That ain't going to happen in this.
No.
I mean, so.
But that next deal isn't going to be there, I don't think.
Why wouldn't it be there?
I don't think, because they're going to look. The networks are going to look everywhere else at where the value is coming from, and the other group. In the process that they're building into place, they're going to go, well, we can feed these 10 mouths, and sure, we get some media markets and everything else, and these are big storylines, and they'll get money. Don't get it wrong. But they're going to look at everything else, because it's either them or somebody else comes in and takes the rest of everything else, and now they're fighting against that. And I don't think you want
somebody else, like another network will?
YouTube, Amazon, Google.
And who would they gobble up?
The non-SEC Big Ten groups. Are you kidding me? Those streaming companies going forward, that's where the money's going to be.
And you don't think that they're going to want the two most preeminent?
Sure, they'll want them, but they're going to want everything. And with that, you're not going to get the big meaty chunk that you're going to get now.
I see what you're saying, but I think that trying to get them, the Big Ten and the SEC, to say, take less money so other people get more is not going to be something that
I don't think that's the framing
happens.
of it, though. I think in the
But that is the framing of what they're going to have to do.
Yes and no, but it's not about the others getting more, where it's about, look, you guys will still get more than them.
Yeah.
But you're not. I don't think that number is going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing.
And that's where their life may happen. The only problem is that all of these TV deals are staggered, right? So the SEC is up in 2030. The Big Ten is up in 2033, I believe. Or I think that might be flipped. You have the ACCs in 2034. Like, and there's where another big hurdle in all this is that
The windows.
if they're staggered,
Yeah.
that makes it really hard.
And that's I think ultimately what it's going to end up happening is you're going to see those deals opened up.
I think
you're going to look at networks and they're going to reevaluate everything.
I think that this would be great for. And what they're also saying is that sustainability of college sports, especially because of all the lawsuits that are coming down, and the future of college athletics is these student athletes are employees. You are going to need one entity to negotiate all of this stuff. As it stands right now, there's no reason for anybody else to. It would take the networks, like you're saying, to have to rethink how they operate. But right now, the cash cow is booming.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
It is booming.
But in the longevity and for the long run, I don't think it is.
What's exciting for me, though, is what this would look like.
No.
And what it would look like is really cool because it would look like, I don't know, 25 years ago.